Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm always in this like waiting game. I'm like, am I on? Am I live? Is this thing working? Hello. Ah, yes. I'm so happy to be feeling this drive and this motivation inside of me to show up. It feels so good. It feels riveting. I've missed this. It was not like that, and towards the end of last year into a good chunk of this year, I really thought that I was going to abandon ship completely and stop showing up this way. So I'm really happy to be here. And what I want to talk about today is, well, I wrote this question: is she running the show from the shadows? And I say she because I'm referring to my inner parts. And so it could be they, it could be him. I am making the link to my personal experience, which is what I want to share about, in hopes that this is in service for you if you're experiencing something similar. It might resonate. I know for myself that I've been through a lot that was unconscious. And so now that it's made conscious, I'm like, whoo, the world needs to know. And women need to know. So last time I showed up, I talked about self-sabotage and rising from the ashes of that. And so the link I want to make today with that is what was driving the whole thing. I think I spoke a little bit about it when on the outside, what it looked like was, comparison, pressure, rejection, and that I was using, well, a part of me was using this, and I'll get more into that, to totally derail me. And so I ended up being like a headless chicken, just kind of doing, trying to make it work, and really getting down on myself when things didn't work. And there was this, self-flagellation, inner flagellation that was going on. That was very intense. And I didn't really know at the time, like, oh my goodness, like I'm doing this to myself. This is not even something that's happening from the outside. Like I'm creating this. And the way that I discovered that is that I was with my practitioner, and we had, like, I continuously do work, but on this subject, we had done a few sessions. But because consciousness isn't always this lightning bolt, strike of aha, where we get to see everything very clearly and then change our patterns. Most of the time, from my experience, is that there are these like cracks in the armor that light starts to kind of seep in, and then eventually it breaks through and we get to see all the pieces and the parts, and that's when we get to make changes in our lives. So here I am, and I'm doing this session, and I'm like, really in despair, and I'm like, why isn't it working? And I don't understand. All I want is an audience that's gonna, be loyal, and just people come to my offerings and for things to work, and then and my practitioner is like, interesting. Are you willing to take a risk and try something new? And I was like, yeah, anything. And he's like, why don't we put on try the idea that maybe you don't want to be successful, and maybe you don't want people to show up at your offerings, and maybe you don't want their money. And I was like, what? So we started to move this kind of energy. He was like, just try it, Mel, just try it. And I was like, okay. So I moved it. And to my surprise, to my greatest surprise, I was like, why does this ring true? Why does this sound like the truth? And so I said, no, that's impossible. Like nobody in their right mind would want to not be successful and be prosperous and, have success and all that. So he said, well, then try the other way. Like, say, I want money and I want success and I want people to follow me. So I did that. And then I was like, oh my goodness, my no, I don't want this to happen is so much clearer and rings so much more true than my yes, I want to be successful. So that left me in sort of the state of like, what is going on? And so as the time went by, and I mean, this was like a little bit of discovery as I gathered the information, I understood that there is a part of me, which he calls the lower self, that wants to sabotage, that doesn't want me to be successful, that really, really, really doesn't want people to show up. And the more that I listened to her, the more that I understood why. And it's because she's terrified that she's going to be rejected, humiliated, and worse is burnt on a stick, like burnt alive. And it sounds crazy. It sounds, I mean, that's like unrealistic. Like, how could that even happen? But when I stopped and I really listened in my cells, it was like, no, that rings true. I am that scared. So then I started to consider the fact that it made so much sense that this part of me wants to sabotage everything to stay safe. I need to stay safe because it's not safe to show up and be in my power and shine and, share my gifts and connect and receive money. Like, it's not safe for her from past experiences and what I'm understanding, most likely past lives. And so now I'm in this place where I feel like I can bring so much love and affection to this part of me and say, holy shoot, no wonder you wanted to like destroy everything. That makes so much sense. Yeah, you're terrified. Let me hold your hand. And so I started again to do my mirror work, to be able to look at myself and talk to myself and hold my hand and hold my body and reassure myself every day as I would prepare to show up again and give my offerings, and to be like, yeah, I hear you're terrified. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm with you. Like, whatever happens, I have your back. And this relationship, this dialogue that I've been cultivating with myself has grown, is expanding. And I wanted to share this with you because it's such an exciting discovery to be able to understand that the reason why things were not working out in my life were not because I'm a failure, I'm terrible, I'm not good at doing online stuff, nobody likes me, like all this nonsense. It wasn't about that. It was about me trying to protect myself from being attacked or the potential of it, which is not in reality. And I am also understanding that these unconscious powers, these unconscious selves that are there that are trying to protect us, because we all have this, they are in service. They're there to they're kind of knocking at the door, being like, hey, can you welcome me into consciousness? And this is going to align you with your highest purpose. And it's like still something that I'm learning, but I'm understanding that my biggest struggles is actually what's going to get me closer to my essence, to source. because the more that I reveal these parts of myself, the more I show up authentically, the more that I have the possibility to be fully myself, and then to be in service, to really be in service, which is one of my greatest desires. And that's what I'm learning. And that's what I'd like to share with you through all my offerings, is to discover what your truth is. And then from that place, can you make powerful choices, clear choices? And from that place, can you really accept who you are, love who you are, forgive? That was a big thing for me, to forgive that I had destroyed. I mean, I didn't really destroy, like I can come back, I'm coming back, but it took a lot for me to come back. So to forgive myself for derailing my career for so long. So yeah, that's what I'm discovering, and that's what I want to share with you. I'm gonna see there's, oh, my mic just fell. Let's put that back. Let's see, there's I don't understand why, but I can't see who's posting, but thank you so much for your comment. I really appreciate it. I see that love, and love back to you. Thank you so much for listening and commenting. And please feel free to reach out if you have more questions, or I'd love to answer them. I'd love to know where you're at, and if this resonates with you. So please feel free to comment or write to me in private if that feels more comfortable. So wishing you a wonderful day and sending you so much love. Thanks for listening. À la prochaine. Bye.